Never lets us down.
Welcome to Toffee TV. See, we know when to start when Gary Ward says Hardy.
Yeah.
That's when we know the
That's
stream
like,
is out
that's
there.
our siren.
It is our siren. If only Everton players started when the siren started.
Normally
like
they
Gary
do.
Ward starts.
Normally.
Is this my Jaffa Gate?
Yeah.
Oh.
Normally they do. I don't think we can level that at them, can we? I mean, we can't Saturday because they quite clearly didn't start the minute the siren
First
started.
defeat with the siren. That's horrible. What?
I know. I thought the siren was going to...
Right, here we go.
Yeah.
Kate Reynolds said, "We left for my boys' match immediately following Saturday's shit show, so at least I got to watch one decent game of football that day. Most of the time, Richie looks like he's the only one with any genuine desire to win. Also, WTF happened to Gylfi? Seems like he's totally checked out."
It's difficult to argue against. He's not playing well, that's for sure, Kate, is he? Again, we look to him, I think, to create things, but he's not playing well, so that can't be the only thing we can do to create chances. It's just hope that Sigurdsson's on it.
Yeah.
Because otherwise we're going to struggle, aren't we?
And if he's struggling, then change things around. You know, there's players there who can play instead of him, so change it round. It's but I'm glad your lad did all right and all that malarkey.
Yeah, better not than ever. Ian Lyon says, "Evening lads, just tucking into my tea and starting to worry whether the dream team of Marcel and Marco is doing the job properly, or if they are, why are the players not carrying out what's asked?" I mean, how do you quantify it? Because apparently, according to everyone, they all like Silva. You know, he's a great technical coach and he's this and he's that. Why aren't they performing on the pitch?
I don't know. If I knew, I think we'd have the job. It's difficult, isn't it? I mean, everything. No, I mean, listen. If you want to boil it down to actual facts, like the real problem is we don't put the ball in the back of the net. We don't create enough chances, and that is the problem. And that was the problem 12 months ago, and it's still the problem now. We don't have a centre forward we can rely on to score out of nothing. It's like, you know, Gylfi, it's always going to be something special. Richarlison would have to come in from the right, and we don't score enough goals. So in a game like on Saturday, where it should have been a straightforward 3 points, straightforward, you know, when you're on top, you score and then you stay on top and score another one. That's where we have a problem. That's where the likes of Man United have a problem. You know, it's where a lot of teams have problems, and we are relying on people who are not in form, who young lads, relying on people to. We just don't have enough goals in the team. We don't score from set pieces, which can be a thing that breaks. And that's it. That's the thing I'd be working on more than anything, is to scoring goals, but it doesn't help when every time we get the ball, we just go wide. We just go wide all the time. There's not enough movement in the team, and it's all right having 70% possession, but if you can't convert that into goals, then what's the point? What is the point?
Well, there isn't any point, is there? As we proved at the weekend, we shouldn't be getting beaten by teams like Sheffield United and that's me not trying not to be disrespectful to them, but the amount of money we've spent compared to them, and it's at our place where we've been very strong at home. And like we said in the final word, you can take that game in isolation, if it was isolation. If every week you knew what we were getting, and that game popped up every now and again, you'd go, you know what, one of them days, we just have to get on with it. But coming 6 days after Bournemouth, and the rally cry, and the this and the that, to go out and put a performance in like that, to me, is nonsense. And I don't know, I think it's rubbish, to be honest. I mean, here's some stuff. This is from David Alexander Hughes. "Everton have pretty much dominated their opponents so far this season. We have the most aggressive press in the division, and they have the third highest possession average after Man City and Liverpool. And yet, from that, only 3 Premier League sides have scored less than 5 goals that Everton have got. The biggest issue, an inability to break down a side sitting in a low defensive block," which is basically what we've said. As I mentioned in the piece, too much focus on crossing the ball from wide areas, which is bread and butter for a deep line defence, boasting a substantial numerical advantage in the box. And that's again, in the tactics show I've done for Payton today, with all the stats, I've highlighted that. They just sat on the edge of their box, 3 centre-backs, big lads. They all dropped in, the low block was there. We put aimless crosses in, they headed it away. And that was it. And then after that, we just looked devoid of any idea. And yet we knew that that was going to be the case coming into the game, that they were going to try and force us into wide areas because they play with 3 centre-backs. You know, and what we said we needed to do was go through the middle. It was the one thing we didn't do.
Well, how come we can sit here, or you know, you and Andy can sit here and have the basic facts of what a Sheffield United team would do? So how come Everton can't take all that money that they've got, all that intelligence of what they've got on the pitch, and can't convert that into understanding that? Like if I was playing footy on a Sunday and I was playing against a team, and quite early on I'd worked out what their tactics were, and because I hadn't had any other way of knowing, you just go, lads, they're doing this over here, so do that over there. And yet our team doesn't do that. Everton don't seem to be able to react. They don't seem to be able to change formations or be able to go, lads, their left back's terrible, so let's just go down the right. Let's start hitting them down the right. Seamus, take a chance and push. You know, whatever it is. We don't seem to ever do that. Like last week we went to Bournemouth. Their left back was their right back was absolutely garbage, and we got behind them twice, and both times nearly got through, and yet didn't do it again. Where we should have just been every time. That should have been the tactic every time, and we don't, because we don't want to go away from this philosophy that we have, which for me doesn't even work. This passing round at the back and then slowly get through midfield. And I think they made a big point out on Match of the Day, or one of them. It wasn't just Everton. I think it was last night. They made a big point about Man United, and I just see loads of similarities between us and Man United. And they were like, they get the ball and they knock it around the back a little bit, and then it just allows the opposition to just get back. So where does Man City and Liverpool use it? And opposition teams push onto them because they think, oh, if we can catch them half the pitch, it might be a really good way of scoring. Man City, particularly good at it. Just knock it round and then clip it over the top and they're away. Whereas when we do it, the opposition just goes, just drop off 20 yards. Let them do all they want. Because when they get to the area of the park where there's actually some kind of danger, we'll just stop them because they can't play against a low block. So Silva's got to understand that and go, I need to change something. I need to start going long, or just go back to basics. What was the basics in the last season? It was pretty much use Dom as a bit of a battering ram, and then Sigurdsson with Charlison picking up the pieces off him. You know, long throws into the box. It's not against the law. You know, you can score. You can get 1-0 up in a game, then you can go, now we'll play a bit of football. Get 1-0 up first. Get 2-0 up.
Just look devoid of what to do next, really. Needs freshening up, however that may be.
Paul says, all right, lads, was Saturday Seamus Coleman's last start for as a regular right back? He is a shadow of the player he used to be. Has to be time to start to DB. Coleman now offers nothing, and I believe the performances are starting to have a negative effect on Richarlison.
I mean, I don't know whether that's the last time he'll start, because
Sometimes you just have to take the horse to the barn and shoot it?
I don't think he's done, but what I will say is he's not playing well.
So don't we just have to say you dropped then?
Well, yeah.
Are we all too a little bit sentimental when it comes to these players, that we can't make the tough decisions?
Well, there's a couple of players that tough decisions need to be made. Coleman, Sigurdsson.
Yeah.
You know, if we had another centre-back at the moment, it'd be Michael Keane. You
Well, whose fault's that?
No, but I know, but I'm saying to you,
that's Brands' fault.
But you know that I've defended Michael Keane. I thought last year he was great. I think he started this season shakily. I'm not going to lie. People try to point the finger at Mina. It's got nothing to do with Mina. Mina's being quite good. It's Michael Keane at the moment isn't playing well.
But whose fault is it we haven't got another centre-back?
Well, obviously it's Marcel Brands' fault.
It is.
But that's the way it is now. It's September.
No, I know, but...
Yeah, but then again, if I was Mason Holgate, then I'd be pushing and going, well, I'll play with Mina, because I've got the pace. But he hasn't covered himself in glory when he's played. So then it's Lewis Gibson, and you want to take a chance on a young kid. So, you know, that's that's the problem for me. Midfield isn't good enough because of the makeup of it, and yet you mentioned it on the final word. It's tough for the manager because he hasn't got Gabaman and he hasn't got Andre Gomez, which would be his first choice midfield with Delph probably.
What was the? You need to answer Kane's question again as the stream went off. What was the question?
Okay, he said, is it...
Time to sack him.
Well, he just said he's lost all faith in him, I think. Let's have a look. When I try to refresh it, keep going. When I try to refresh it, we'll answer it now, Kane. It's fire up, mate. It was like the third comment.
Sorry, is there more?
Yeah. It's like the third one or something. There it is.
He said,
that was it.
Can't believe Silva's comments regarding a crisis before the Sheffield United game. Basically not matching the fans' ambitions. We want success, not mediocrity. That game on Saturday showed me we're in trouble and not going forward.
Well, go on. What's your opinion? Are we in trouble?
My opinion is that we are...
Billy, get us the Mac charger.
We are going very, very slow.
Yeah.
And I've spoke about this on the final word, and I've actually defended the manager on the final word by saying that.
Little stretch, will you? Yeah, go on.
That the manager's been left in a difficult position. Bloody hell, Bill, you're making a bloody meal out of this.
Just drop it under, kid. That's it.
Oh. No, basically the manager lost a sense of... See, the manager, I think on Saturday, let's say McKean and let's say Mina started the season, right?
Yeah.
Saturday was a game where you might have gone, say we had Zuma on the bench, let's say we'd signed them. That's a game where you go, I'm playing Zuma today. And the reason why you'd play Zuma in a game like that is because his pace would allow you to have more players on the pitch, right? Further up the pitch. And this is the problem with not having a pacey centre-back, is that you don't have the insurance policy. So when everyone else is bombing up the pitch, if the opposition play a long ball over the top, you've got a centre-back with pace who can deal with it. We haven't, and that showed at the second goal. That's why then he might feel like has to play a Schneidlin. But he doesn't actually want to play Schneidlin. He has to play Schneidlin because he lost Garner, who he didn't want to lose. And we've seen him even a day before he got sold saying, I'm gonna try and do everything I can to keep him. And then his replacement is now out till November, right? And that was a player that he was obviously willing to say, I'm going to let him get his experience in the Premier League because I've got to, because I've got nothing else. And then the lad who stands next to Gabaman, so in the Watford game, where Gabaman was a little bit, not shaky, but he had Gomez next to him who helped them through the game. And now he hasn't got Gomez either. So he's got a centre midfield partnership of Delph and Schneidlin with Sigurdsson ahead of him. So, in fairness to the manager, he's been let down, I believe, by the recruitment. I don't think Marcel Brands prioritised a centre-back as much as he should have and left the whole Zuma thing far too long. He should have gone out and got a centre-back who was going to be another first-choice centre-back, and he didn't. And, okay, the Gabaman situation is completely different because they went out and bought someone they felt like was going to be a replacement. Maybe not straight away, but was going to take a little bit of time. But I think the recruitment has let the manager down, and I think you can see that in the manager's body language, that he's not happy that he hasn't got another centre-back. I really do. And I'm not a massive fan of his body language anyway, but I do think the manager's been let down on a couple of things. So he can't take all the blame, and as much as we want to preach about how great Brands is, I think that centre-back position he's really let him down. So it's not all on the manager. What are your thoughts?
Well, it's hard to argue against it, isn't it? When it's...
You don't have to argue, you just agree.
When, the facts are in front of you, aren't they? Is that, again, the second goal of the weekend, that's still level, a lot of it at your...
No, I would, but if you've got a centre-back with pace there, he deals with it. Yeah,
but Dean, he just bent it round Dean and he looked like he was running in sand. The pair of them at the back. But that's football, isn't it? We got caught with a sucker punch. But the problem for me is that you can defend the manager I know you don't really do it a lot, but and you defended him this time, that's fine, but he's still picking the wrong makeup of the team because he's putting Schneiderlin and Delph in. He didn't need the two of them in there. Make a decision. If it's Delph, then he's on his own. If it's Schneiderlin, then he's on his own. You can't play those two together. Doesn't work. It's proved that. Bournemouth proved that. Yet Saturday proved that.
No, I agree. At home, you shouldn't be playing. At home, you should be saying, right, today we're going to play with a little bit more freedom because actually these aren't going to come. And you know what? A team like Sheffield United, if they look at your team and go, these are only playing with one centre midfielder, like, let's have a go, and then that opens them up a little bit. You're giving them a false sense of
your
hope.
Midfielders should be able to do everything.
Yeah, they should.
And that's the fact that the best midfielders can. Fernandinho's one of the best midfielders for me, and has been for years. He's had to go to centre back, but when he was in that midfield, he can attack, score, defend. He gets around the pitch. Why are Everton just got midfielders that can only do one job? So Schneiderlin can only protect the back four. Sigurdsson can only play in that number 10 role. You know, you shouldn't be having that kind of thing. So your midfield should be made up of players who are all action, who can get around the pitch. And that's what it all comes down to. And you're right, he's without his first choice centre midfield. But that's the way it is, isn't it? That's what happens in seasons. Some clubs don't get any injuries, you know, and get VAR helping them as well, which makes it difficult when they're brilliant as well. Special doctors and you know, spying your eye and elsewhere and all that, allegedly, and all of that, leeches. But we're not, so what the manager has to do is earn his corn and go, okay, all right, well, Brands didn't get me a centre-back, but he got me this and this, so I can't moan. I've got to get on with it and find solutions, as he talks about it. Well, he said from day one, he liked to play 4-3-3 fast. So why are we playing 4-2-3-1 slow? So that to me doesn't ring true. It doesn't. And I do defend Marco, and I like him, and I want him to turn it round. I want him to be a success here. But he's got to start stepping up and earning his money. He's got to start making some big decisions. He's got to start looking at different ways to do things. We played 6 games. We haven't played anyone. We've lost to 2 promoted sides so far. We haven't scored a goal against either of them. We've lost 50% of our games. His win record is terrible at the moment. So he's got to start now earning his corn, and that is making tough decisions and going. If his preferred formation's 4-3-3, play it. Yeah. And if that means putting Sigurdsson on the bench, so be it. It's the way it is. Put him on the bench. Make him fight to get back in the team. That's the way football is. You can't go, oh, well, we've got this player, and every now and again he bangs one in from 35 yards and it gives us a win. That isn't good. Would he get in Liverpool's team? Would he get in City's team? Would he get in Spurs' team? No. Would he get in? He probably would get in Arsenal and United team. But that's what it's about, isn't it? Every player who plays for Everton should only be in our first team because they're playing really well. And we've got a squad now of players who we can replace, most of them, with players who are decent. So do it. And make them players go, well, hang on, I've got to play really well to get back in the side here.
James has heard quite a few people criticising the fans after Saturday. What do you think? Personally, I think they've got bigger issues than our loyal support right now. Who's criticising them over, like, booing, or I don't know? But
well, listen.
Was it awful?
It was very quiet at the match at the weekend. Started all right the first 5 minutes, then it was quiet, and then they got booed off at half time, rightly so. If people want to boo, they paid the money, and that was crap. And they got booed off at full time because they were left. Well, that was, those of us who were left in the stadium at full time, loads got off the minute the second goal went. People are entitled to boo, but people are entitled, if they don't think the fans do enough, they're entitled to criticise the fans, aren't they? Because it's only someone's opinion, isn't it? You can't go, well, our fans are loyal and it's great, we can do what we want. Well, do we really support our team as well as we could? Don't know. Sometimes we have done. We've gone a long time without winning anything. So I think we are loyal and I think we are patient. But what I would say is the patience is wearing out now. Everyone's tenure gets shorter and shorter before they're criticised. And that's why if we got Arteta, his window would be shorter than Silva's before he was criticised, and Marino. And that's the way it is. It's getting worse because we haven't won anything. We need something to settle everybody down. Even if even if it wasn't winning something, but if it was looking like we had a boss team and we were challenging for that top 4, people would go with it. But I think we're just all frustrated that it's like another false dawn.
You've got to buy into it, haven't you? And again, I repeat myself, and I might sound boring. You've got to buy into a manager. I don't think enough people bought into the manager. Graham says, I would like to see Gylfi dropped and Banana playing his role, but kept further up so he can be an anchor by which he can receive the ball and quickly feed the ball to Keane. Yeah. Stephen Kelly says, alright lads, hope you both well. I've tried to defend Marco for a long time, but Saturday was the end for me with him. Oof. How much worse does it have to get until the change was made? I don't know. I mean, the problem is, it's not a problem, but you look at the other teams, don't you, and think, Man United, great. I've got the same point. They've got a point more. Chelsea have got a point more. You know,
Arsenal got out of jail.
Bournemouth won 2 in a row, and like Friday night the 3rd. It's you know, we've got to quickly find a groove. I think that's the case. Steve Kelly says also, Ped, seen some of the hate you were getting at the weekend from some people, mate. People just get really jealous that they don't look as good as me in a suit. That's the problem. He says, I hope your sister is doing well, mate. My sister got diagnosed with cervical cancer on Friday, and I actually put her onto the story about your sister. Keep up the awareness, mate. Sad news, Steve. Send her our best, and just tell her to just fight, because it's not a death sentence by any means. So, all the best from us, mate.
Yeah.
And Gary Ward says, it's time for Marco to admit that philosophy may not be the most effective use of the current personnel. Yeah, I think that would all agree.
Most definitely. Yeah. James from LA Walkway says, still furious with that shambles at the weekend. How long does Silva realistically have to turn it round? He's got to start getting results, hasn't he? Mashiri, he'll get protected by brands a bit, but if Farhad Mashiri is getting twitchy and sees another manager that he wants, or I don't know. I honestly don't know, James. It'd be easier for Marco Silva just to start winning games and get something going, because then that's what we need. We don't need another change and then X amount of players going out, and it just sets us back again. Barry Stevens says, fair dues to Wilder on Saturday. Just as the crowd were getting piped up, he brought on Jags. He got a standing ovation by everyone, and the crowd went nice again. Clever management. Ian Lyons said, for the past few weeks we've been saying play Tom Davis. So why hasn't the manager tried him yet?
Doesn't trust him, does he? Clearly does not trust him in that position. But what I don't understand is, in those games, he's basically the player I'd be bringing on when we have to change something, like last week and like at the weekend. He's the first person I'd be bringing on. I'd be saying to the whole team, right, we're changing how we attack. I wouldn't just be going, take a left winger on and bring another left winger on. That's not how football works. I know it can work like that, of course, but if you're playing in a certain way and you can't get out the rut, then you've got to change the way you're playing, and you've got to change the way. You've got to say to the opposition.
Bernard wasn't the issue Saturday.
Exactly. So, let's just say, for argument's sake, you play a team and their right back's having a great game and your left back's like stumped by him. So what you do, you change the left midfielder and go, well, go on, you have a go. If that right back's having a great game and he's on it, then what are you gonna do? You've got to. For me, Tom Davies is the kind of kid who can come on. So you say, right, we're not gonna play with a defensive midfielder. We're gonna bring Tom on, and we're gonna just start pushing further forward and making a few more risks, and trying to get the ball centrally into Moise Keane or whoever, and then things might happen differently. But I don't understand this philosophy of like just trying to overload teams with forwards, because if you can't get the ball to them, then what difference does it make? If you just keep on.
Well, on Saturday, it wasn't even like we could bang it long, because Cenk isn't brilliant in the air. He's all right, but he's not like Dom, is he? So they'd have been better banging it long to Dominic Calvert-Lewin to try and head the ball down.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Instead of just sending it. I don't know. It is weird. Ian also says for the past. It's as if his loyalty is to certain players overrides what the team plays like instead of what we want to see.
Strange that, isn't it?
Stay hard, he says, I don't really want to chuck the youngsters in at the deep end, but can the likes of Lewis, Gibson and Anthony Gordon really do any worse at the moment?
I think Anthony Gordon, there's a place for him possibly on the bench tomorrow night. Just to change things up. It'd be lovely if Everton were in a position to bring him on in a game and say, go on, there's you, and then, because he might just be the kind of player that has got that freeness to just go and do what he wants.
Spark.
Yeah, and gets the fans on side and says, like, the manager's thinking out the box. He keeps on bringing Theo Walcott on, honest to God, the fans just going to go mental. Because it's pointless. It's the most pointless sub ever in the history of the world. Honestly, it is.
It's not worse than the Weir sub, but it's
no, I mean, the Weir sub had a point, though.
Yeah, normally, yeah, for the opposition, it'd get a point, yeah.
It's the worst sub since the Red October.
Yeah, that wasn't great, in all fairness.
Let's have a look who else. Graham Prices, do you think Pickford should have kept going for the ball for the second goal instead of stopping?
100%.
He said because where I was sat in the park end, I thought at the time he should have kept going towards him. I do, because the lad who was running on goal, he wasn't exactly Aguero, was he? Like, if he would have run at him, that kid would have bottled it. And I think someone might have even got back behind the goalie. So he should have. I thought the goalie was at fault. Not fully at fault, but played his part in both goals. I think the first one, he should have just flew out and smashed everybody and took that ball. But he didn't. He'd come out half-hearted. So, yeah.
The second goal, I couldn't believe he put the brakes on. He was running, I thought it's running through to him. And the next minute he stops and it gives the lad the chance to knock it under his legs.
He doesn't have to get to the ball. He just has to make it difficult for the lad.
Make himself big, yeah.
Michael Perryman says, even lads totally agree with Ped regarding the centre-back position said at the end of the window. Brands failed by not bringing one in. Paul Tony says, the formation we play is slow and very predictable for our opponents. Why do you think we persist with it week in, week out? No idea.
Because of Gylfi Sigurdsson.
Liam Beeson says, do you think Walcott has a clause in his contract that states he has to play or get subbed on because Davis is getting the shaft every week on the bench? I don't know.
Looks like that, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Really, that's what it looks like.
Harry says, what do you think about the reception Jagielka got when he came on, considering we were losing and he'd already had support before the game had started?
I don't know. I didn't clap him when he come on because we were getting beat 1-0.
There's a time and a place.
If we'd have been 3-0 up, I'd have clapped him. We were 1-0 down, chasing the game. I don't mind. I give him a clap at the end when he come round and clapped everyone, and I clapped him before the game when he come on and clapped. But during the game, but listen, I'm not going to sit here and tell people what they should and shouldn't do. I didn't feel like I wanted to clap him when he come on because for that 95 minutes he was the enemy. So, but everyone's entitled to do what they want.
Simon Rouse says evening goal. And Steve Kelly says, totally agree with you, mate. People buying into Silva and they don't. I watched the Chelsea game yesterday. Yes, I know Lampard is a legend of the game, but the fans can see what he is doing. They want to give him a chance. I honestly just don't believe fans have any sentiment for Silva, and that makes his job difficult straight away. Really difficult. It's I mean, maybe it is a coincidence, but anyone who's ever managed Everton actually played for us, didn't he? Who won trophies? Sorry.
He's won trophies.
I've actually,
the only people to win trophies have played for us. Yeah.
I've said this before. We've done this on like a Tuesday topic. I think there's something very important about the manager having a connection with the fans. I think that's why ex-players, I think that's why the Arteta shout goes around. And when you said before that I think he'd get less time, I think he'd get more time. I really do, because I think people would buy into it.
I think our fans are getting worse.
No, but I think that's why people, if Arteta rocked up with Kale, he'd get loads of time.
And we lost 3 games on the run.
He'd get loads of time. He would.
I don't think he would. But we'll do. I mean, that's Neville Southall's come out today and said if they get rid of Silva, give it to Duncan, because at least he knows what the crowd wants. No, but that's the reason why he's saying that is for that reason, because he's an ex-player, he understands the club. I'm not saying Duncan should get it or shouldn't get it, whatever. But I'm just saying that's what.
There has to be limits on.
You don't know, Duncan could be the key man. You don't know, do you? Because he's not the manager, so we wouldn't know. And the same with Mikel Arteta. It's all very romantic that he's under Pep, and Pep's talking great about him and all that. But I've seen Brian Kidd, who was one of the best number 2s ever, take Blackburn down. Paul Clement, who's been with Ancelotti and Marino, took, basically relegated Swansea near enough. Went to Derby and couldn't do a thing.
I agree.
Steve McLaren, who was a fantastic number 2 at United. Ferguson said he was incredible. Couldn't do it. Rennie Mullenstein. So there's all through history, there's been Colin Harvey. Colin Harvey, one of the greatest coaches ever. Couldn't manage a team. So it's great Arteta being, fantastic at what he does. He's also stood next to Pep Guardiola and with the greatest players in Europe in his team. It's brilliant. And all that. And listen, he could come in and be exactly what we need him and Kyle.
I do find it...
But the other side of that is he could be an absolute nightmare.
But I do find it interesting that Pep Guardiola said he thinks he'll be his successor.
I just read that before. He said he could see it, but I don't think it.
But I think if that's the case, he recognises he's got the qualities to be your manager, which is you've got to be ruthless.
Pochettino said, didn't he?
You've got to be ruthless and you've got to be prepared to make tough decisions. So we'll wait and see. Graham Finch says would rather have Gordon come on than Walcott.
Yeah.
Teddy Sass. I've got sympathy for Marco, and I think there's definitely been let down in the transfer window, but he needs to stop sulking. Brands is great, but he's not immune from criticism himself. Marco's an easy target sometimes, and his perceived lack of personality will backfire on him during every difficult spell. But if he doesn't make adjustments now, my sympathy for him will go. Might be controversial, but we're still in transition, and there's something to be more. There's going to be more ups and downs to come. Overall, I don't think he's going anywhere soon. I think that's it, isn't it? It's hard but that's the point. That's what I'm saying about you've just said it yourself about having a personality. It's about having a personality where you can come out and explain to fans, the ins and outs of your rationale and why you're making decisions. Managers mightn't think they have to explain themselves, but it is small things. Someone said there, saying about Wilder, clever to bringing Jags on, maybe to calm the Everton crowd down because it was getting a little bit, he was seeing that maybe it was getting a bit whatever. But managers make decisions sometimes that are clever and and cute, and or say things after the match that can have an effect, inspire the crowd by saying certain things. Whether you believe in them or not, I certainly do. You're
looking for every single edge you can get. Every little facet has to be looked at. Whether it's slow the game down, speed the game up, throw-ins, different things, isn't it? You look for any little advantage you can get. Little thing bugged me on Saturday, like when we're getting beat 1-0, our ball boys just like taking his time, rolling the ball back. I was fuming with him. No, but it's stuff like that.
Right.
Speed it up, make the,
remember when we played Man United, and it was the roll-on ball thing,
multi-ball, yeah.
And the minute we scored, Moyes told all the ball boys to stop.
To stop it.
It's not multi-ball now. It's one ball,
yeah.
And that's it. And it completely slowed down the game.
But that's the thing.
And that's it. That's what I'm saying. That's clever. That's a manager using his head, or thinking during the game. I look at this manager sometimes and I just wonder whether he knows how to deal with the pressure during the game.
What do you think about Moyes? His name was mentioned a lot last night. And on Saturday, actually, when I was talking to Paddy was like, what do you reckon about Moyes? And I was like, it's a safety blanket, isn't it, Moyes? You get it back because he likes the club, and he gets the club. It's like, oh yeah, we were all right under him. He's had a couple of...
What about Moyes with Arteta to take over?
Arteta wouldn't leave. He'd only come to be the main man, wouldn't he? That's if you could get him out of there. Barry Stevens said, have you tried the new FIFA yet? No, but I've been told it's rubbish.
Yeah, I've seen it's rubbish. rubbish. Apart from that, like, five-a-side.
Yeah, the Volta thing's supposed to be good, but the rest of it's supposed to be garbage. I don't know. You can tell me, Baz, if you've tried it. Andrew Ryan says, Silva is a bottler. Any bit of pressure whatsoever and he falls to bits. These performances have been abysmal and there's no excuse. Every team has injuries. John Crellin says, for the last 10 games of last season, Silva showed what is possible under his management. It wasn't a fluke. I'm as pissed as everyone else, but we've got to stick with him.
Yeah, but what I would say to that is, right, we did really well against the teams at the top, right? When they came to Goodison and they wanted to have a go. But you play more games against teams who are in the bottom half of the table, and this is where he seems
don't want to have a go.
And this is where he seems to struggle. So you can't just go, well, guess what, lads, we're just going to wait for all the big teams to roll up, and then when they do, then it's still a flip of a coin, isn't it? You know, you play really well and still lose. So, and you can play badly and lose, which we probably will against some of those big teams. So we've just got to start putting teams to bed. Like, what's mad is we've won all those games at home, and I still wasn't confident on Saturday that we'd beat them because I envisaged that situation.
I thought we'd beat them because I just thought we'd have too much quality for them, and I thought there'd be a response.
I don't think we've got the players for a response.
And there was no response.
Thor says, why does the crowd and the players not let the referee have a mouthful for what he said to us last Saturday?
What he did to us.
Oh, sorry. What he did to us. Sorry.
Collective bunch of pushovers.
No wonder people do not respect us. No, you're right. I agree.
He was poor, the referee. He was poor, the referee.
After when they scored, why weren't players properly getting in the referee's face and going, get on VAR or whatever? That wasn't a goal.
I mean, he did check it,
but even that, you want to put doubts in the referee's mind. Why aren't you saying that?
Well, there was other things. There was one, the lad smashed into the back of Bernard off the pitch, and Bernard got booked. It was just nonsense.
And then on the other side, you had Moise
Keane getting dragged
by two of them.
Free kick given away, and Bernard could have had a penalty, saying it was, but his leg was caught as he'd done a turn and nothing. It's just, I don't know. Referees are garbage, let's be honest. Barry Stevens says, no way, Moise.
That's fair enough.
Steve, what's Steve saying?
Steve Kelly said these next 3 games for Silva are massive. He said, and when I listen to him, I forget what he's just said because it's so boring and uninspiring. No, I completely agree with that. I can't really argue with that. I think it's difficult, the City game, because it is City and they've just bounced Watford 8-0. But I think obviously the 2 away games are huge because we're going to need backbone to win those games. We are going to need backbone, and that's the thing that has been missing so heavily, is a backbone to beat teams, to be able to. I said this so many times, and I was saying this last season. The ability to roll up your sleeves, play against a team that are a bit niggly, that you don't really like playing against, that are putting 10 men behind the ball, whatever, and having the ability to go, we're going to do these today. And the irony is, when we played Lincoln a couple of weeks ago in the Cup, and it did get a little bit niggly, the players did roll up their sleeves, but it was almost like they decided to roll up their sleeves because they were a League One team. When it was like, well, what difference does it make? You go out and you play against the team you're playing against, and if they want to have a go, you have a go back. If they want to get into a couple of scraps, you have a go back. And you go, you channel it all in the right way, and I just don't think we do. We've got a team that are like bad shit houses. Let's be honest. Like, you know what I mean?
Ian Lyons says, I think if Marco ripped the team apart after they played shite, he'd make his supporters support him more. I wish he'd watch this every night and feel our frustrations. I wish he would, as long as he pays his subs. Well,
yeah, that's an interesting point, because Simon Rose just said the players need to be accountable for our form. If they give it 100% and lose, then you pin it all on at the manager. But when they don't look arse and not respond after losing the previous game, they need to look in the mirror. Simon, that's a very good point, right, mate? One thing I would say is then, when those players do have a shocker, why don't they leave? Why aren't they out the team? Why did Iwobi go out the team? Yeah, Sigurdsson gets away with it. You know, if players have bad performances, get them out the team. If Seamus Coleman's not playing well, get him out the team. So players, if they're in bad form or whatever, or they're not doing it, just get them out the side. Get them out. You know, that becomes the manager's issue then. Not, oh, I'll just continue with what I'm doing.
Yeah, and this is an interesting one.
Yeah.
Steve Hardy, I know we didn't really know much about him, but do you think the loss of Marco's assistant could have made a big difference? And Barry Stevens said the assistant is smashing it up in Portugal. I mean, you underestimate that sometimes, don't you? He lost a key part of his backroom staff, and okay, Bowen Morty's come in and is what he is, but that fella could have been key with some of Silver's stuff.
Well, who's to say that fella though wasn't the kind of man who would say who he trusted enough that would go, this is shite. You need to do something about it. Whereas Lewis Bowen Morty hasn't been there that long. They've never worked together before. No. Okay, he's supposed to be a good coach, but have they got a relationship where he can go, this is not good enough, and this is the reason why I don't think it's good enough, and we need to do this and we need to do that. Have they got that relationship yet?
That's something that I know Pep was saying Arteta does, doesn't he? So he doesn't mind telling them. Magnus Dunn says, in an ideal world, who would you have as our manager should Silver fail? You'd have Arteta, wouldn't you?
Yeah, there's something.
You want Arteta?
There's something. There's something there, though. I honestly believe. No, what I will say is, right, I honestly believe Arteta's going to be a great manager. Honestly, I do. I do believe he's going to be a really good manager. Now the question is, does he need to go somewhere first, and be a manager, and then go up the ladder? Are we that first club? Is someone else that first club? If someone else is that first club, then would we have any chance of getting him, or does he go straight into the City job? But I do think he's going to be a good manager, because I just think he's such an intelligent thinker of the game, and he's been prepared in such the right way with the right man. It being, Guardiola. I think they share the same philosophies. I think the way Pep come through Barcelona, he did the B team, and that would be interesting. Vieira's did something similar, and then went to New York, and now he's in Nice, and you would maybe imagine that maybe in a couple of years' time he'll be ready for a big job. So would City look at him rather than look at Arteta?
So. I think so.
If he does well, if he's doing well. So I just like, and whether people can agree or disagree, I just like the idea of having a manager who understands the football club. But the problem with it is, right, you won't win us, and there's not many people left in the game. Well, there isn't anyone left in the game who was a winner at Everton, who's now a current coach or manager anywhere. That's the problem. So, yeah, that's the issue.
If you had a choice between him and Mourinho, who would you take?
I don't know, because I think Mourinho's almost getting to that point now where he's I'm not saying he's damaged goods, but it'd be interesting whether Mourinho would be flexible and go, I would buy into the director of football thing, because actually I want more help and less influence. He said when he was at Man United he wanted a director of football, but he's also a huge personality, and would that personality rub up against brands? Is he gone too far, or his methods outdated? I don't know. I'm sure there's loads. If Andy was here, he'd be telling us about all the other up and coming.
Gallardo, he wants from River Plate.
Yeah, and I mean, lots of questions about him, isn't there? Because obviously he's only really done it there, and he's a big name, of course.
Allegri's another name, but then would he come here, and is he too set in his ways? I don't know. The easiest thing, the easiest thing is for Silva just to get it right, isn't it? But then there is obviously you are drawn to Mikel Arteta because he played for us and he was great, and Cahill loves us, and Cahill and him are best mates and all of this, and they'd want the very best for the club and all of that. So you have got that bit of excitement with that, and plus he's got great hair, looks good in the trackie. So you'd have all of that.
Good personality.
Yeah, good personality.
Well, likeable guy.
But
no, it's a risk.
It's a massive risk.
Massive risk.
But then again, massive risks they go one or two ways, don't they? So, yeah. But you might be right. Maybe the fans will feel like we've got, I won't say one of our own because it sounds naff, but someone who understands us and understands our club and has won derbies with us and knows what it means and knows what we want.
Scored last time
and honesty.
A pair of them scored last time we won a derby.
It's just nonsense, isn't it? But you want honesty from them, and I'm not saying Marco isn't honest, but maybe those two can get the points across easier.
I honestly,
I don't know.
I just think the press play a big part in it, and it's getting across what you want.
Cahill's very good in the press, don't forget. Very good, media-wise. And Arteta comes across really well.
And Marco doesn't. He just doesn't.
Well, he doesn't. I like him, but yeah, I understand
I
understand why people have a problem with him, because sometimes his answers don't actually answer any question. They're just confused.
Which is fine. But he does it in a way that you don't actually understand what he's saying. Managers go round the houses.
I don't know. Would the players we've got be able to play the way Mikel Arteta wants to play? Possibly. They're all good footballers. It'd be interesting to see what he would do with this set of players. But have we got to that stage with the manager where we're fed up with Silva and we want him gone? Some have. I don't know. I think there's maybe more to it. But like Steve Kelly said before, the next 3 games are, are big games.
Put it this way: there's not an outstanding candidate out there that you'd even go, oh, I'd get rid of Silva right now just for that guy.
Well, a lot went for Mourinho the other day. A lot were like, I don't care whether Silva gets it right or no, turns it round a bit or not. I want Mourinho because he's a winner. And a lot of people are looking at that. And someone made a really good point the other day. What I thought was a really good point was, it's all very well spending loads of money on players, but the manager is the coach to get it right is where you need to spend big next time. Whether that's trying to get Diego Simeone, listen, I don't think he'd come here, and I don't think he'd necessarily be what we would want in terms of the way he plays. But that kind of personality, that kind of coach where he commands respect, maybe we need that. Maybe Marco is a mate. Maybe I don't know.
You know what we need? We need the captain. Baby!
Get out there and win this Carabao Cup, baby.
So I can enjoy a nice Pilsner, baby.
I don't know. We need something, don't we?
Simon Rouse says, I agree, Peb, with your answer to my point, but I still think the players need to give their all every game. But yes, Silva should be more ruthless. No, Simon, I fully agree, mate. Players are they just run round. And do you know what the problem is? Some footballers, some of them walk off the pitch and feel like they've done the job. Because that's the way they are. But the manager's got to be ruthless, hasn't he? But I do agree that it is on the players. The players are not showing enough. I've read something the other day. I've seen something where, are we the quietest team in the Premier League? No one seems to talk to each other. No one, very, 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 very strange.
It is mad, isn't it? Guy Wetham says, worth considering he's without Gabamon and Gomez, arguably his first choice.
Well,
we did say that before, Guy.
Liam says, maybe wearing blue is bad luck for us. Can we try the salmon? But I'm sure we'll wear the salmon tomorrow night.
Won't do that. Magnus Dunn says, Davis better be in tomorrow. Someone who died for this club needs to bring in players who put their balls on the line. And he also says, do you think someone from the under-23s could come up and give us a boost? Well, you've mentioned possibly Anthony
Gordon could definitely come into the squad.
Being in the squad.
Just be... I know he has been training with the first team. I think Lewis Gibson missed out the under-23s on Friday night, so he was obviously the backup centre-back in the squad. Because he is basically the fourth choice, so he didn't play. So I would definitely have Anthony Gordon in and around, and I'd definitely get him on the bench for the game, whether that's tomorrow night or in some time in the future. But I think fans would get a lot more of a buzz seeing someone like Anthony Gordon come on the pitch than Theo Walcott. I think fans are completely over Theo Walcott. I really do. And I think someone like Anthony Gordon just refreshes people when you need something, a little spark to get you going as a fan. You go, wow, young lads on the bench today, can't wait to see him.
Up and all
always
that,
get, fans will always get a chance when the player will always get a chance, and they'll always try and do something. I mean, if he's not ready, then I understand that. But he seems to have started the season really well for the under-23s. Last year he was like a bit part player. This season, he's come in and straight away he looks like the main man, and you wonder whether sometimes players like that.
And for England.
Yeah, but sometimes you see that and you think, and you see this with like players lower down who come up the divisions with a team. It's like, can they just skip because they're on that, they've got that momentum? Can they just skip through the levels? So
you don't know, do you?
No.
Barry Stevens does make a good point. Within 18 months into a 5-year project, can't keep getting rid of managers.
But it's not a 5-year project.
I was going to say, what I'd say to that, Barry, is Silva's only got a 3-year contract. So
it's not a 5-year.
That to me says they weren't fully.
Well, they weren't prepared to pay out the wages if they had to sack him.
So that's why. So we're 18 months in now, aren't we? Or 16, 17 months in with Silva. You know, maybe, I don't know. Listen, we're not sat here going, he has to go.
No.
You know that if you watch this regularly, you know I defend him quite a lot.
I don't want the upheaval of losing another manager.
But what we're saying is,
and I want to win games.
We can't keep letting seasons just fly by though and going, well, all right, but next season we'll start. We had an easy start, relatively speaking, and we've won. We've lost 50% of our games. We've scored 5 goals in 6 games. We've played Crystal Palace, Villa, Sheffield United, and haven't scored a goal past either of them. You know,
that's our big problem. We can't score goals,
and that is the key issue.
Teddy Sass says, how many managers do you know who cling on to underperforming players? There's loads. Like, there are safety blanket players. It's mad. Often it takes things to go, they're really going bad, as if they've got the justification to drop them.
Yeah.
I think you're at the point there. Just need Marco to act on it now.
Agreed.
Because we're there for me. Stephen Kelly says, read something on Mourinho the other day saying he will have new coaching staff, so I wonder, does that style change? Yeah, it could refresh him like Ferguson used to do. Simon Rouse, I wouldn't want Jose. I think football has moved on since his good days. Klopp and Pep are great coaches, and that's what teams need in this day and age.
Not many of them around though, Sai, is there? That's the key, isn't it?
Simon Rouse continues, I think if Silva goes, we may lose Charlison. I'm not asked. I'm not. You can't keep hold of someone if you're worried about a player going. That's just life. What's Richarlison going to do? Just keep on following to whatever club he's at? I'm not being funny. He's never getting a club as big as Everton if he fails here. He's just not.
And the other thing is, if we sell Richarlison, we'll get 100 million for him. So
he's always said he's a father figure, but I suppose that depends if Silva joins a club that can afford him. Well, he won't, because he'll never get a job as big as Everton if he fails. It's as simple as that.
If he gets another big job, it'll be somewhere in Portugal, like
and Simon finishes by saying, finally from me, no more Morgan, please. Schneiderlin starting tomorrow night.
But that's it, isn't it? And again, in isolation, or if you look at his numbers, he did well. But like Pet said before, you can come off the pitch and go, I did all right today. My numbers are there, I've done it. But it doesn't actually help your team.
Yeah, Schneiderlin's definitely a player, I think, who walks off the pitch going, I've done my job today. And you know what? That's fine, because he probably has done his job. It's just whether you think in home games against Sheffield United, his job is essential to us getting 3 points. And I don't think it is.
It's not, is it? Because it's
Yeah.
Just doing that.
Thor says Silva seems to lack the spirit to create something special. You can see it on how the players conduct themselves. If we can get Arteta next summer, we would be idiots not to try to get for a 5-year Bramley Moore Doc Everton project. And Teddy Sass says, do you know if there's any truth? Paulo Fonseca having an interview and interviewing bad and getting binned as an option. I was desperate for him to be appointed. Very good manager with Champions League experience and a winner. Looks the part too. Well, he's at Roma now, isn't he? So
doing well. I did hear that as well. He interviewed Paulie.
Turn up in that mask.
Yeah.
Turn up dressed like Zorro.
He interviewed Paulie. I heard. But you know, then again, Silva was Mashiri's man as well. So
maybe we should stop Mashiri giving the job to people then.
Well, maybe Brands would choose the next one though. That's the thing, isn't it? But again, what's interesting to me is who makes the call now. So if Mashiri's annoyed and he phones Brands and says this isn't good enough, you know, don't forget what he said in the summer. We have to win this season. Yeah. Well, we're not winning, are we? We're getting worse at the moment. So the pressure will be on. He won't want to see. You can't keep, we're all getting older, so you can't keep going, that's another season out the way. Maybe next year we'll do all right. There's 32 games left, so there's 96 points to play for. Silva could still turn this into a great season. But we'd have to go some, you know,
103 points.
No, but we could, you know, we could really start and get decent amount of points and play well. But what if we don't? It's another season chalked off, isn't it? And you can't keep doing that. You've got to get progression. Every manager has to make progress. Every manager.
Teddy also says, do you know what I honestly think it is with Marco? It's his English, lads. I think it's really self-conscious. I think he's really self-conscious about his English is actually really poor, and he clearly can't present himself with the way he wants. Thinks he deserves some leeway from that perspective. Well, I've heard that before, and I think Emery at Arsenal is similar. You know, when they conduct interviews with, you know, with journalists from their native countries, they're relaxed, they know exactly what they're saying, they know they're not going to be caught out. And I agree, but I don't use it as an excuse. I really don't. The manager should just learn better English then. Or I don't know, the club should be doing more to help him. Better PR. It's his body language as well. I've said this loads, his body. You watch him in a press conference, he's always like that. Always hunched over. Like, and he doesn't project himself. You never see him like, yeah, and you know, even if your English is not good, speak louder, project yourself out. You're the face of Everton Football Club. All these things matter, and I know some people might think it's all bollocks, right? But it all matters. You watch all the top managers, the way they present themselves. They're always dead relaxed. They look relaxed. Marco's always like that. He's always dead hunched over. No, he doesn't project himself very well at all. But I bet you when he's with Portuguese press, I bet he's like back and forth, you know, a bit of a joke, and someone will throw something in, and he'll go, yeah, blah, blah, blah. But when it's with the English press, when Sky is like, oh, that's his demeanour all the time.
Yeah.
Always like holding onto his arm. Locked together. Dead his body language. I bet you're a body language expert would have a field day with him. And they're the things that people get onto and go, is there something wrong here? Because he doesn't project himself very well. I don't know. Does that win your games of footy? I don't know, but I think it helps build up a picture of someone's persona.
It's difficult, isn't it? Because when you're struggling, you look at everything. Everything's magnetised. Yeah. Everything. We're looking at it and going, is this a problem? Is that a problem? Should he do this? Why doesn't he play him? What's wrong with him? You look at everything. Whereas if we'd have won Saturday, we'd be sat here going, right, let's get tomorrow, get a positive result, and see how we do on Saturday against City. We'll probably play well against City at the weekend. We might lose the game, but I bet you we play better because they'll give us more space to play in, so we'll be able to play some of our nice football. They might score 4 goals, but you know, we might score a couple and be in the. We might even beat them. Who knows? Norwich showed how to beat them last week by getting in the faces and energy. Everton have to do it, but it's when you're losing, you have to look at everything because we're all looking for answers, aren't we?
All Linda.
Yeah. As Hugh and Cry said.
Right, there you go. Let's call it a day. Got a couple of things to do. Got a bit of Pilsner.
I was going to say, you sounded like that. Got to have a couple of Pilsners, baby.
Yeah. So, nice one for watching. We'll see you later.